Lately I've been feeling things change. We've been working hard, no sleep, get it every day. And I swear that we ain't stopping till we pay. Yeah, the pressure on, gotta make it work. Triple play, yeah.
This is Triple Play Fantasy Basketball Week 6. About, what is that, a quarter through the season? Getting ready for that in-season tournament. Starting next week, I'm very excited about that. You know, LeBron James is going to take home that first in-season tournament championship.
Gosh, 45 seconds in, and he's already talking about LeBron.
Put another feather on the cap, 39,000 on the way to 40,000 points. The GOAT. On the other end, Doc, how's your fantasy week looking?
Yeah, the GOAT of manipulating social media and orchestrating super teams. You know, it's going okay, James. You know, a little bit of a down week for me. You know, I'm still above the person that I'm playing in standings as of now. But, you know, like we preach on this show, it's a marathon, not a sprint. You don't look at 1 week, you look at the entire season, and you go week by week to try to win. So what James is alluding to is he's putting a spanking on me. I'll accept that spanking, but we regroup and we come back stronger next week.
Yep, 9-2 by the end of this week.
Oh, it was 9-2. It was 7-4 last time I checked.
Well, things changed, and I got 9 rolling today on Sunday. And sometimes it is about games played. It's very important knowing these things, and sometimes you run into, you know, unlucky week. Teams with 2, the Celtics and the Spurs. So staying away from some of those players, letting go of some of those bubble players, i.e. Jeremy Sochan, perhaps. You know, we love James. Jeremy Sohan, but you don't hold on to those players. There are 5 teams that play 4 this week. Everyone else has 3. The 5 teams include the Nuggets, the Pistons. We'll talk about them. The Clippers, the Lakers, and the Pelicans. All of that is important going forward because you do want to, you know, utilize games played and get up. We talk free agents here. We talk about people that you could possibly pick up. There's really no like must adds here. It all depends on your team, your league, what you need. You know, sometimes it's about streaming options. And today I might let go of some people like Isaiah Stewart, for instance. We'll just start with him with the Pistons. I'm thinking about doing a drop here. I'm in a pickle in my week situation where it's my guy that I'm playing has more games and I'm up on rebounds. He's a good fantasy player. He's 63% ohms. He's not a must hold though. I mean, 12.7 boards and assists, 1.5 threes. He's not going to get you much defensive stats. And on the horizon, Bogdonovic is coming back sometime soon. I don't know when exactly. The beginning of the year, they said 4 weeks. We're here week 6. Last year, he averaged 22 points, 4 rebounds, 2.6
he ain't
assists.
Repeating that, though.
49% from the floor, 2.5 3-pointers made. I mean, all you have is Asar Thompson in the fold. Like, who else is taking some of that minutes? Last year, we saw him play heavy minutes. And, like, let's be frank, he's a positive player around Cade Cunningham. So, and they want to bolster his stock to maybe send him in the trade deadline. So, I mean, if he's sitting there and you got IL spots, I'd use it. I'd use it as a pickup.
So can we agree that Isaiah Stewart is the type of guy that we know he's going to be? Like, I'm looking at his scoring the last 4 games, 10, 11, 8, 11, 10. He is in that 8 to 11 range per game. Like you said, rebounds.
He's a safe guy. I think he
is a safe guy.
Season high in rebounds is probably like 11 or 12. Like, he doesn't like have like wow performances. He might hit like 3 threes maybe in a game, maybe get a blocker here. But yeah, he's a safe player, power forward, center eligible. There are definitely worse options, but he's definitely not somebody like I can't do it. I got to keep him. I mean, they played 4 games this week, so
I think he's the first cut if the Pistons have like a 2 games, or if you need someone, if you're in a 10-team league, a little bit more shallow, and you want to take a flyer on a guy with a little bit of a higher upside. But I mean, there are room for safe guys in fantasy.
Yeah, and with Bogdanovic, I think we might see his role change a little bit. They might take his minutes. We've seen Jalen Duren go bananas this whole year, and whether Duren's playing or not playing, it's not like Stewart just goes crazy in those games.
I will
that he
say, yeah,
so.
I don't know what Monty Williams is doing with that rotation. Starting Bagley at the 5 sometimes. He's outing Wiseman on minutes.
The
Stewart,
Jaden Ivey story is the biggest scratch of the head. A guy that averaged 16 last year as a rookie has so much promise. They're playing Killian Hayes over this guy. It is.
And Troy Weaver signed an extension recently too, so he's going to be there for a little bit.
All right. Injury news. JJohnson hurt his wrist. We don't know the severity of the injury, but with that comes boosted increased minutes for Saddiq Bey, DeAndre Hunter. So we're going to play a little versus game, Atlanta Hawks style. Doc, first of all, what you think about the injury? Jalen Johnson was one of the biggest pickups this year so far.
Yeah, so Jalen Johnson, and watching the game, just being a Wizards fan, it didn't look good. So Steele and Kyle Kuzma just being petty for having multiple turnovers. When he should have just let him take an easy layup, tries to contend it. Jalen Johnson hits his left hand on the backboard and then falls. So that could have been 2 ways that he injured it from there. The fact that he wasn't even able to grip the ball with his left hand and he had to shoot the free throw one-handed and he's grimacing in pain, to me, shows that it's going to be a multi-week injury. And this is nothing that I've seen confirmed, just speculation on my end that if you can't even grip the ball and they're ruling you out quickly. So for me, I think Saddiq Bey is the safer option, but I can understand if you want to go with DeAndre Hunter, who has shown a little bit more upside. I mean, 2 games ago against the Nets, 25 and 11. But Saddiq Bey has played at least 25 minutes in 6 consecutive games. He's going to give you probably 14 points. I mean, he will flirt with a double-double. That's basically what he's good for. I mean, he is going to give you 1.3 steals over the last 2 weeks. I personally like Saddiq Bey over DeAndre Hunter. I think he has a little bit more of a consistent role, but I don't think you can go wrong with any. And James, the thing about getting both of these guys, Atlanta has 2 guards who are going to have 10 assist ceiling per night with Trae Young and DeJounte Murray. So they're going to want to get whoever is playing involved.
Yeah, we haven't talked about the other Bogdonovic, who's like every position available, but because he's 73% roster, you're not going to find him in too many leagues. Both of these guys are 48, so that means over half of leagues they have him. It is a really funny pick 'em because they both are small forward, power forward eligible. DeAndre does have more exciting games where he might just pop off, but I think Saddiq is the safer option here. I did pick up DeAndre in one of my leagues. He was a back-to-back. Atlanta played Saturday and Sunday. So those are things that you watch when you're streaming, you're picking people up. Josh Richardson this week, averaging basically 13 points, 3 boards, 3 assists, 1.5 threes, a steal. Back in Miami, and he sees his best playmaking starts over here in Miami. Kyle Lowry on the season, 8-4-4. I know he's a repeat offender on this show, but 43%
rough offender in the NBA as of recent.
Oh yeah, who else is out there?
I don't know. You tell me. You've been paying attention to social media.
Yeah. Josh Giddey's got himself in some trouble.
That could honestly be something that, if you think that he is going to get some form of suspension or that the team is going to keep him off. I know he did play yesterday, but especially with him and Jalen Williams out, like that could open up opportunities for Isaiah Joe. So just kind of keep that in mind for future weeks.
Yeah, 3-point streamer Isaiah Joe. I guess we just roll that off right now. If you're looking for threes, you're streaming at the end of the week. He's a guy. He's not going to get you much else. He plays that Sam Hauser role, point guard, shooting guard, eligible 25%. You can find him in most leagues. 2 Miami guys. Lowry's a safe pick. I mean, he's had solid numbers throughout the season. He only shoots under 7 shots a game, and they're all 3. So he's not going to kill you with his field goal percentage, even though it's sort of low. He'll bang out a couple 2s. We've seen him go crazy, hit 7 against Cleveland, not just this week. But Jaime Jacquez is taking just a strong stand. He started yesterday and plays for Jimmy Butler. Took a game off with an ankle. last week, averaging 18, 5, and 3. He's been a top 100 player the past 2 weeks. He's 43% roster. A lot of people are getting hip on him. He shoots a very high percentage. He has a strong role in the team, as I mentioned, and he's a really safe guy. And I think he's the guy that's going for an All-NBA bid. All-NBA, my bad, all-rookie team. Not all NBA.
I was going to say All-NBA. Wow, you really getting carried away.
Jacquez is Team Lewis.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah, you're really making a stand with Team Lewis. All right, so for Kyle Lowry, is it fair to say Kyle Lowry is the Draymond Green of guards? From a statistical perspective, he's giving you a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and he gets assists and his steals. Like, he's always been a good steal guy throughout the league. He can get you at least one, but those things add up throughout the end of the week, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, 1.4 for the season, 0.2 for somebody that's, I think, 6 foot. I mean, that's not bad. That's more than Alec Burks did last season. Yeah,
and he's a sneaky good, rebounder for his size as well. So it's just a smart game, and his minutes haven't plagued off. Like he plays like 30 minutes a game, and he hasn't been like missing back to back. He basically played almost in every game this season, which injuries have been catching up.
I was gonna say in the Heat order, I would go though because we talked about 3. I would go Jacquez first because he's the hottest guy on there, and if Jimmy Butler does sit, that seems to be his direct replacement. I mean, he overtook Caleb Martin. But Josh Richardson's been getting a lot of minutes too. Played 37 yesterday at Nets, 34 at Knicks the game before. Like we said, that's where he started his career with the Heat. So he's already he's a former member of Heat culture coming back.
Yeah, and they got a lot of those guys that, don't have the ball stick in their hands. They move it. They play some good defense.
Good source of assists and steals too.
Yeah. So I go Jacquez, Lowry, and then Richardson for me personally. I'm not touching Richardson. 2 other safe guys that you can find anywhere, about the same roster percentage. So we're gonna play a little Norman Powell versus Lonnie Walker IV because he gets buckets in his IV. Both of them are points streamer guys. Norman Powell is on a season averaging 13. More recently, he's had a couple 20-point games. He's, starting to play in that second unit with Russ. They're starting to put things together a little bit, but I never thought about the fantasy implications Harden would have on, say, Kawhi Leonard, who's really been the one that's been affected the most from just first glance. Lonnie Walker is been averaging more points this year. He's, 6th man of the year candidate. He's been shooting a high percentage, so that's the real thing. Doesn't do too much outside of points, but he, I think he's liable to get maybe some more 3-pointers. If this is a pick 'em, who you got?
Man, if you'd asked me a week ago, I would have said Lonnie Walker with all the injuries that the Nets have had. But the Nets are starting to get healthy, albeit Ben Simmons. We don't have a timetable for his return, but the last 2 games, Lonnie Walker, 8 points in each game, playing 16 and 14 minutes. And we talked about James. Like the Nets just don't have any cohesion. They're still trying to figure out who they are. They have a log jam at the small forward, shooting guard position. I mean, I think Norman Powell is going to be a safer option playing in the second unit. Somebody that shoots a good volume. I mean, from a points league perspective and somebody that's just giving you scoring, it's Norman Powell. Like you said, a lot of these guys aren't providing in other categories, but Norman Powell has been doing this year in, year out, certified bucket getter.
Yeah, and with him playing 4 games this week, and we said there's only 5 teams that are doing that, he might be a good stream for the week, and you don't feel bad at all when you cut him. 40% rostered. Isaiah Joe.
I was going to say Norman Powell shooting 49% from 3 also.
Yeah. KD's shooting over 50. And he's doing it off the dribble, which is wild. We didn't have to mention Craig Porter because he was a big pickup throughout the week. Shooting guard, small forward eligible, former Wichita State. And you just see those guys, flutter throughout the league, whether it's Fred VanVleet or whatnot. But last week, averaged 15, 2.5 rebounds, basically 5 assists on 60% from the floor, and nearly 1-1 in 1.
He's a slasher.
If you round up.
And you know what, James, it's interesting because Cleveland has 4 out of their 5 starters solidified with Mitchell, Garland, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. They always change out that small forward, whether it be Karis LeVert, whether it be Max Strus, Well, JB Bickerstaff came out this week and said that Craig Porter has made a push to be in that starting 5 for the near future, even when they're back at full strength. Somebody that plays very unselfishly. He attacks with both hands. He doesn't shoot the ball a lot from outside. No. I know he's taken 6 attempts over the last 2 games. But other than that, somebody that doesn't shoot a high volume of threes, which kind of offsets Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. I think he fits in better watching that game yesterday than LeVert and Strus do, because they seem to need the ball in their hands a lot to kind of be fantasy relevant.
He only played 17 minutes though, and I think that might be telltale going forward. I feel like somebody that you could stream when a Garland sits or Mitchell sits. I think he could take away some of the minutes from Caris LeVert, as we mentioned. LeVert started the season off real hot, has dialed down a little bit lately, so he's definitely not a must hold. Although he's been fantasy relevant this year, I think like 18, 4 and 4. But that's kind of like this was a guy that was hot this last week. Just somebody that I'd put on the watch list. And kind of injuries pop up. Now, Jabari Walker, son of Samaki Walker. You remember some Samaki Walker?
Oh, of course. The Lakers?
Yeah. Former Colorado buff. In the last week, he started to get a little bit more bump. Small forward, power forward eligible. 13 points, 7 boards. He's good for a 3. He may pop off and get some defensive stats like a steal here and there against Utah at 19 points, 10 boards, 2 steals, 2 threes. Like those, that's an impressive game. That's just recently within this last week. So Jabari Walker, 7% rostered. You can find him in any and every league. And so in deep leagues like 14 team, 16, you got to pick this guy up.
Yeah, 21 years old. Portland still wants to see what they have in their future. I mean, James, I think it's fair to say Portland is going to tank for at least the next year, right?
Oh yeah, for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. So let's see what young talent they have. And I know it's one game, but 19 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals, 2 3-pointers made. Like you want to try and get on those guys early, because if he shows this over 2, 3, 4 games, he's probably already going to be picked up. So available in 93% of leagues, career high 28 minutes last game. And DeAndre Ayton has been out, so that opens up more rebounding opportunities. Ayton was averaging close to 11, so anytime he's out, more rebounds going to come his way.
Other things to note of the Portland is Scooter Henderson is back. He played 17 minutes last game, but he'll play probably a lot today against Milwaukee. Malcolm Brogdon is back as well. That affects a guy like Skylar Mays, who was killing it in fantasy as a stream. You're going to see his production fall off big time, but it was impressive in his time that he did play. So he played 6 minutes last game. It's fair to say you can drop Skylar Mays as of 3-4 days ago. Nice run, though.
So, James, I want to go back to Isaiah Joe real quick. So, Isaiah Joe, obviously good for threes. It's funny. So, I'm watching the 76ers Thunder game yesterday. At the end of the game, he took 14 shots. 12 of them were threes.
Oh, yeah.
It was a 2-possession game. He pump fakes from 3 and then drives, and the person goes right by him because obviously they're expecting he shoots a 3. But we had mentioned Jalen Williams is out. If Josh Giddey is out, is there anybody else you're targeting outside of Isaiah Joe?
It's hard to say. With OKC, they always have, fluid rotations. Like, you want to say if Man starts getting some of that playing time, he's definitely a fantasy relevant type of guy. So I guess that just a team that you want to mark and watch, because it seems that when they get players in the mix, they get them some bump, and then they'll just fall out of the rotation, just all in general. So,
all right, so I'll give you a name game, and you tell me between these two guys who you'd rather have. Kenrich Williams, Aaron Wiggins.
Neither, unless Wiggins is playing. Not a fan of Williams.
Okay, all right. Kayson Wallace.
Yeah, definitely. I think that Kayson is somebody that you want to watch. He's somebody's going to get you some steals and some threes. So yeah, I would see him getting kind of the bulk, and he'll be the real guy that I watch. And I don't know, has a winning attitude, and I think that he might be part of the future starting lineup, especially if they're going to move off from. I don't know. We'll see what happens with the Giddey situation, but he already was having a down year. It just seems like the SGA and him fit doesn't work particularly great. And of the assets they have, the young assets, it might be him that you move on for a veteran. Maybe he gets a better opportunity in a different destination. I know Giddey's damn good. He's damn good, but it's something to think about.
Yeah. No, and I agree. And the reason I brought it up is because Wallace had 13 minutes yesterday. Williams had 18, and Aaron Wiggins had 20. So, but Wallace started the game. So.
And rookies are going to have up and down. So, we wish you good luck. We had, hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. It's a good time to see the family. Stay true. Be active on your lineups. Don't give up. If you're a commissioner and you got to pest the guy that gave up, week 6, like make it even for the rest of us. And we got good old Doc to do the behind the head shot. That's going to be 4,000.
I mean, I'll just wait till we're done with our announcements and I'll do it at the end.
We're done here.
All right, we're done here. It's going to be better next week.
Sure thing. All right, everybody. Have a good week. For Doc, I'm Coach Lewis. Peace.
Lately I've been feeling things change. We've been working hard, no sleep, get it every day. And I swear that we ain't stopping till we pay. Yeah, the pressure on, gotta make it work, triple play, yeah.